job for the state of California, and they came to us all in a panic. They have a central cooling system for all the downtown Sacramento buildings. And they said the water in the river is too warm or something like that.
Sorry to
And I explained to them that they have
Sharice, are we ready?
They have a rainy collector, and I explained to them that the water that you see isn't the water that you're pumping. You know, there's two different flows. There's a subterranean flow and a surface flow, and they're related, but not very well. So we're basically, I think, dumping water in the ocean when we do that, but we can talk about that. Okay, let's go.
Good.
Go ahead, Ben.
No, it's on you. You're chairing this. I believe we're live, Larry.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I did it. Need a motion to adopt the agenda?
Move approval.
Second.
Roll call, Sharice.
Sorry. So, Director Bragman,
Aye.
Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kohler,
Aye.
Chairman Russell.
Aye. Okay, public expression?
Hey, you didn't ask about Armando.
Well, we did, but you didn't answer, so we moved forward. Snooze, you lose around here, man.
I'm sorry, Director Quintero. I didn't see you pop up on screen. I apologize.
So Larry.
Go ahead. No, you need a vote. No, Armando, you need a vote. Sit down.
Director Quintero.
Yes.
There we go. Okay, cool. Okay, public expression.
We have 3 items that are not on the agenda that we received via email. So I'm just going to go ahead and read that really quick. The first item is from Mike Vandeman. Mountain biking in our parks. What were you thinking? Mountain biking and trail building destroy wildlife habitat. Mountain biking is environmentally, socially, and medically destructive. There's no good reason to allow bicycles on any unpaved trail. Bicycles should not be allowed in any natural area. They are inanimate objects and have no rights. There's also no right to mountain bike. That was settled in federal court in 1996. It's dishonest of mountain bikers to say that they don't have access to trails close to bikes. They have exactly the same access as everyone else on foot. Why isn't that good enough for mountain bikers? They are all capable of walking. A favorite myth of mountain bikers is that mountain biking is more harmful to wildlife, people in the environment than hiking, and that science supports that view. Of course, it's not true. To settle the matter once and for all, I read all of the research they cited and wrote a review of the research on mountain biking impacts. I found that all of the 7 studies they cited were all written by mountain bikers, and in every case, the authors misinterpreted their own data in order to come to the conclusion that they favored. They also studiously avoided mentioning other scientific study which did not favor mountain biking and came to the opposite conclusion. Mountain bikers also love to build new trails legally or illegally. Of course, trail building destroys wildlife habitat, not just in the trail bed, to both sides of the trail. Grizzlies are human from 1 mile away and smell us from 5 miles away. Thus, a 10-mile trail represents 100 square miles of destroyed or degraded habitat that animals are inhabited from using. Mountain biking, trail building, and trail maintenance all increase the number of people in the park, thereby preventing the animals' full use of the habitat. Mountain biking accelerates erosion, creates V-shaped ruts, kills animals and plants, and on to the next trail, drives wildlife and other trail users out of the area, and worst of all, teaches kids that the rough treatment of nature is okay. It's not. What's good about that? So I'm just going to pause right there. We're going to put all these comments on the website. I don't want to exceed the 3 minutes, and I'm going to go on to the next email. Dear MMWD Board of Directors, I am a regular user of MMWD lands as a hiker and birdwatcher. I go to these lands for the peace and serenity they offer. E-bikes would destroy this precious atmosphere with their noise and speed. I therefore strongly support the board's existing position on banning e-bikes on MMWD lands. Reversing the position would be short-sighted. E-bikes have the potential to negatively impact the environment with uphill speeds of up to 20 miles per hour on sensitive trails and dirt fire roads. Their presence adversely affects existing passive recreational use, especially hiking and birdwatching. Although I am sympathetic to the desires of mobility impaired users to gain greater wilderness access, traveling farther and faster could result in much more serious accidents that put greater strain on emergency services. I would also remind the board of the economic impact for the district as e-bikes on the watershed would require additional financial and staff resources to enforce compliance and maintain trails. With an eye to the future, as the use of e-bikes becomes more prevalent, the damage and dangers would grow exponentially. What might seem like a small change in policy could have great long-term negative ramifications as e-bike design is enhanced to be faster and more powerful, and popularity and usage grows. Thank you, Ray Rodney. Next comment from Mark Sachs. To the board, I would like to register my support for allowing e-bikes on the Marin Water District trails. E-bikes allow those of disparate strengths and abilities to recreate together and enjoy the beauty of our area. They allow people to travel beyond the normal and more frequented trails to take in sites and areas that get little other traffic. When ridden responsibly, they are no more damaging to trails than regular bikes. Because the engine cuts off at 20 miles per hour, they cannot be raced down hills faster than regular bikes. Thank you for your consideration, Mark Sachs. And that is all the public comment that we have that is not on the agenda.
Thank you. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Move
So-
approval.
Second.
Director Bragman,
Aye.
Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kohler,
Aye.
Director Quintero,
Aye.
Chair Russell.
Aye. Okay, we have resolution number 8583.
Yeah, good morning, board members. Sean Horn, Watershed Resource Manager. Resolution number 8583 is approving the grant resolution, application for the Zelly Hill Trail Project Phase 3. So the recommended action for this item is for the District Operations Committee to review and refer to a future regular bi-monthly meeting of the Board of Directors with the District Operation Committee recommendation to approve resolution number 8583. On May 14th, 2019, the District Board of Directors adopted an amendment to the Mount Tam Trails Watershed Roads and Trails Management Plan for the restoration of the Azalea Hill Trail project. At the March 19th Board of Directors meeting, staff presented an Azalea Hill funding plan, which included an application proposal for Phase 3 to the Recreation Trails program. So in February of 2020, staff submitted the grant application in the amount of $795,000 to a program that's administered by the California Department of Parks and Recreation, titled Recreation Trails Grant Program. And this was for Azalea Hill, Phase 3 of the project. The grant proposal requires a 12% match, so the district would be matching this grant in the amount of $95,000. The proposal from the program would be for $700,000. The district currently has the $95,000 budgeted in the capital program for planning related tasks for this project, and that would be adequate for a match. The grant application includes a number of specific elements, including the construction of 6,400 linear feet of new multi-use trail, construction of one new bridge, construction of a large retaining wall to support the alignment near Bolinas Fairfax Road, construction of one new causeway, 21 armored crossings, installation of a kiosk at Bullfrog and Alpine Lake Trailhead, and the installation of directional trail signs, as well as some trail drainage improvements to support the multi of the trail system. So as mentioned, this is for Phase 3. We're currently working on Phase 2 of the project through funding from the California Conservation Corps North Bay, Prop 68 funding. And this is for a section of Pine Lake known as Liberty Gulch currently. So approving the resolution number 8583 is a requirement of the Recreation Trails Grant Program, and it would be authorizing the general manager to negotiate the grant agreement and execute the agreement on the behalf, and it would also acknowledge the board's support for the project and the funding application being submitted. So again, staff is requesting that the doc refer this to a future bi-monthly regular board meeting with a recommendation for approval.
Sean, do you want to just go ahead and approve it? Because we have a quorum, so we can do that if it's advantageous.
Ben, do you have thoughts on that? You're on mute again.
I just wanted to check in with legal on that, since that's different from how it was posted. Bob, or
Ben, I would highly recommend against that, just because the agenda is just review and refer.
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, I think it's got to be reposted too.
Yeah, I do too.
I have a question. Did we get the grant from EMIG?
Yeah, we're working on that currently, and he's in support of it, and we're working on an agreement currently. Legal is reviewing that agreement, and that'll be for the bridge over Bullfrog Creek. So that's
Right.
a kind of isolated element.
Right. Okay. And then just one other quick question on the causeway. Is that like a sort of a boardwalk over the mushy part of the area, the trail?
Yeah, exactly. But in the phase 3 section. So, there is a mushy part of the trail near Bullfrog Creek that we're actually going to completely avoid with our new trail alignment, which is going to get us out of that wetland. But there is another section near Bolinas Fairfax Road, which would be the causeway for this one.
Okay, very good. I'd move approval to move it on, or move approve recommendation to the full board.
I'll second.
Director Bragman,
Aye.
Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kohler,
Aye.
Director Quintero,
Aye.
Chair Russell.
I don't think that takes a vote to forward it onto the,
Maybe not.
no, not usually. Because the vote occurs on the consent calendar.
Right, that's our typical practice.
Yeah. Okay, second amendment to contract number 1836 with Forrester and Kroger. Well, I guess that's an affirmative vote.
Yeah.
Carl, you going to take this item?
Sure. Good morning. Again, this is the second and final amendment with Forrester and Kroger to extend their contract. Just background, April 4th, 2017, the Board of Directors approved the 2-year contract with Forrester and Kroger. Contract has been extended in 1-year increments after that initial 2 years. This is the second and what would be the final amendment to that contract. This contract performs critical BIFIP work for us on the watershed as we scale up. They conduct approximately 1,000 acres of work each year, which totals out to about 11,000 hours of their time. And we're asking to extend the contract this round for $406,120. And this would be through end of June 2021.
And this is an approval item that we are bringing to the board, not referring to a board meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, approval. Okay, guys, I need a motion.
Move approval.
Need a second.
Second.
Thank you. You're up, Therese.
Director Bragman,
Aye.
Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kohler,
Aye.
Director Quintero,
Aye.
Chair Russell.
Aye. Okay, easement agreement with San Rafael High School District for an easement at San Rafael High School, 153rd Street, San Rafael.
Good morning, Operations Committee. Mike Bond, Director of Environmental Engineering Services Division. You may know that San Rafael High School is constructing their MAC project, and in addition to some new buildings out there, they are also installing 2 new fire lines and converting an existing hydrant to a private hydrant. While preparing for the project, our staff discovered that in 1985, the city of San Rafael had dedicated a formerly public road, formerly known as High Street, to the school. And we had an existing pipeline that actually now runs right through the middle of the parcel, had an easement for that had not been offered to the city, to the water district. So to remedy this situation as part of this new project, the district and high school staff have been working together on a no-cost easement agreement, which will cover the existing pipeline and the new facilities. And so today we're requesting that the committee refer this item to the board with a recommendation to authorize the general manager to execute the easement agreement with San Rafael City Schools. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions?
No.
Slightly
public comment?
unrelated. I support the motion. Are we working with the school as far as reducing water billing, that type of thing? Does anybody know where we're at with San Rafael? No?
We certainly did have the initiative where we were working with the schools. Is that what you're referring to on conservation?
Yeah.
Why don't we plan to give the board an update the next time we're talking about conservation, but we'll bring that back and provide an update.
Okay, I would appreciate an update. Thank you.
Because there has been a fairly significant schools initiative for a number of years now, especially around some of the fee increases. So I remember speaking with the county head of schools probably 2 years ago now.
Okay. I'd move
Okay.
approval.
Second.
Just to clarify, there was no public comment on this item or the previous items. And for the roll call, can Director Bragman,
Aye.
Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kohler,
Sorry, aye.
Director
Really quickly, Charisse, we don't need a roll call on this.
Yeah, I
It's a
didn't-
referral to the board.
It just goes up to the
Okay.
consent calendar.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you.
purchase of North Marin line booster pump number 6. You again, Michael? Oh,
That
no.
was
Oh, it's
Kristen.
gonna be me, yeah. So I'm Kristen Arnold, Associate Engineer in Planning. Today I'll be discussing the North Marin Line pump number 6 replacement. And I have a short presentation I'm gonna share. Okay. Full screen, there we go. So this is for the North Marin Line booster pump number 6 replacement. This pump is located at the North Marin Line pump station, which is located at San Geronimo Treatment Plant. So this pump station takes water from the clear well at the treatment plant, which is this large tank over here. And it pumps water to Smith saddle tanks and the Fairfax transmission lines. This pump station is critical to supplying water to a large portion of our service area and is the main supply for Fairfax, San Anselmo, and San Rafael. This pump station has 8 pumps. Pumps 1 through 6 are located in one room, and then pumps 7 and 8 are actually in an adjacent room. Currently, pump number 1 is a 2,000 gallon per minute pump with a 200 horsepower motor. And the other 7 pumps are all 4,000 gallon per minute pumps. The horsepower on the motor ranges from 400 horsepower to 450, depending on when they were replaced. Since 2006, staff has been gradually replacing these pumps due to age and inefficiency. Pumps 7 and 8 were replaced in 2006. Pump number 5 was replaced in 2016. And pump number 3 was replaced in 2018. The next pump we're hoping to replace is pump number 6. It was installed in 1970, so at 50 years old, it's reached the end of its useful life and doesn't have a very good history of repairs compared to the other pumps, and it's the least efficient pump at this station. The existing pump has a flow of 4,000 gallons per minute, and operations requested that the new pump be reduced to 2,700 gallons per minute. Having 2 smaller pumps and 6 larger pumps will allow the operators greater flexibility in the winter months when demand is lower, and will allow the operators to turn over the clear well water without disrupting plant operations in the winter. Staff received 2 quotes for this pump, and after evaluating both quotes, we determined that the lowest cost option will be a good fit. It's a gold pump submitted by Pump Repair Service Company for just under $147,900. The pump has a 24-week lead time, so district crews plan to install the pump this winter. In summary, staff recommends that this item be referred to a regular bi-monthly board meeting with the Operation Committee's recommendation to authorize the general manager to purchase this pump and motor at a cost of $147,894.
I have several questions, Chris.
Okay.
How can they both be shown with a NIDEC motor at 350 horsepower, but one shows a motor efficiency of 94.1 and one shows 95.4? How can that be?
I mean, those are the numbers that are provided by the manufacturers.
Weird.
Yeah, I understand, but
never
it's the
asked
same
them.
motor, it looks like, isn't it?
It is, yes.
And then the following along, I appreciate, and it's good, the power cost is substantially lower because the efficiency is substantially higher. But do we go back and verify these numbers? Is the electric use a factor in the bid?
Yes,
How
it
much-
is.
So do we go back and look and see that it does what it's supposed to do?
When they're installed, they do an efficiency test to make sure that the pump is at the efficiency that it's supposed to be at. I don't know how much we track it over time, though.
And are you sure that what's listed there is indeed motor efficiency or overall efficiency? Because overall it would make more sense because the pump is more efficient. But I don't see how the two motors can have different efficiencies.
On the quote, it's listed as motor efficiency, but it could actually be the overall efficiency.
The system, huh? Yeah. Maybe you could find out. It's not important in terms of moving this forward, but I'd just like to make sure that, we're not being hoodwinked here.
Okay, well, we'll take a look at it and just get back to you.
Yeah, it's no big deal. At your convenience.
And Larry, I have a quick question on the electrical cost. It looks like the savings with the Gould bid are really substantial, and I'm just wondering if it's the same pump, how is there such a gain in efficiency on electrical?
It's not the same pump, Larry. It's the same motor, but it's a pump made by two different companies. So the one that we're talking about is a Gould pump, which has 80. See the line of sixth one down, 82%.
Yeah.
Okay, the other one's 80.5. That's a big difference, huh? I mean, that's a few percent. It really adds up when you're drawing horsepower.
Yeah, well, it's substantial savings in electrical power. So, I mean, that's the one thing that jumped out at me. So it looks
well,
like
plus it's cheaper, huh? So it's got everything going for it.
Yeah, it does.
That's what I was asking about. Do we check to see that what they promised is what they delivered? That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah. Very good. No, it looks good.
Any public commentaries?
There is no public comments.
Okay, guys, I need a motion.
Move approval.
Second?
Thank you.
This is just a referral item, so we don't need a formal vote.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, contract number 1899, Piedmont Road Pipeline Replacement Project. Michael's up again.
That's actually me.
Oh.
So
well,
I'm Jake
I can
Miller.
see Michael. I can't see you.
I'm Jake Miller. I'm an associate engineer in the design group.
Good morning, Jake.
Good morning. So Piedmont Road Pipeline Replacement Project will be replacing 2,190 feet of a 100-year-old pipeline in the city of Larkspur. The project has been in coordination with the city of Larkspur and their paving project that is planned for next year. The engineer's estimate for the pipeline contract is $482,000, and we will be opening bids on July 28th. If all bid documents are acceptable, staff will make a recommendation for contract award at the August 18th regular bi-monthly meeting of the Board of Directors. The contract of this project will be completed December of 2020, and staff recommends referral of this item to a future regular bi-monthly meeting of the Board of Directors with the Operation Committee's recommendation to proceed with the project.
Jake, I have a question.
Absolutely.
Are we putting any COVID surcharge into our estimates for this kind of work?
No, we are not.
And do you think there will be one?
I don't anticipate one.
Okay. Because it seems like it'd be kind of hard to do to me to maintain social distance and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But maybe they got a better way of doing it than I have in my head.
City of Larkspur permitting is requiring contractors to comply with all COVID regulations.
Yeah, whatever that means, huh? Okay, guys. Any questions?
Actually, just a moment. Larry, I agree with what you're saying because being asked to comply with regulations actually means a change in policy and procedures. So I get what you're asking, and I think it is worth understanding if we've got additional staff costs. I don't know though, Jake, if there are any additional staff costs related to complying there.
Yeah, well, we'll know, Armando, too, when we see the bids, huh? You know,
Yeah.
that's what I was asking. If we're
Yeah.
the low bidder, then we understand that they did put in something for COVID.
No, thanks, Larry.
Okay.
Could I ask a question? Is whether we're adding any kind of condition to our bid material as far as COVID compliance, and should we be doing that?
I believe what we're doing is requiring compliance with all laws and regulations. And our inspectors, as they're out there, as in all requirements, they ensure that the contractor is complying with all the laws and requirements, including the county order. What we saw very early on, and this was broadly through the industry, when the requirements were coming down and contractors were in place, there were additional costs that were being incurred. For the most part, the contractors know what's coming, and the costs for the earlier question do get incorporated within. So they do know that, and then our inspectors in the field do keep an eye on things to ensure there's compliance with the county orders.
And
Well-
the PPE alone can be $50 a day easily per person.
Yeah, well, my question is, and maybe it's something Jared or Bob could look into, is whether it needs to be an explicit part of our bids during the COVID emergency.
Good question.
So maybe legal counsel you could take a look at that and just see, because, you know, if you do have infections and there's litigation, you know, you want to shield the district from any kind of liability. So it may be far-fetched, but it might be the type of thing we want to take a look at.
Okay.
Do we require our guys to wear N95s when they're working?
N95s were very tough, as you know, to come by for quite some time. Things have loosened up. We follow the county orders, which, as you know, is distancing and masks. And we do require that, and we do try and enforce it, thinking of it as part of essentially an OSHA requirement. And we are getting, you know, there's occasionally outliers that need to be reminded, but we have found pretty good compliance. And fortunately here, we haven't had a positive, which means we also haven't had spread within the workplace. I'm aware of some other agencies that have had some issues pop up.
Do we keep our inspectors away from the normal crews?
Alex, do you have our construction inspectors. Alex, you want to?
Yes. So during any construction project where our inspectors are working out with the contractors, they maintain their distance from the contractor's crew. Yes.
I wasn't after that, Alex. I was asking whether they maintain the distance from the people at the home office.
Oh, yes. Yes, they do.
Okay. Because it seems to me, you know, the mask, and I assume you're talking about the cloth masks, and they're fine for keeping you off of somebody, but they're worthless keeping somebody off of you. So I would strongly recommend that we push the guys to wear N95s if they're available, because I think it makes a huge difference the first time I put on a cloth mask and I realized it just breathed right through from around your nose. I went, oh, this is ridiculous. So I wear both now. I wear an N95 our N95s happen to be ventilated. So I wear an N95 with a cloth mask over it.
Right, exactly. That's what you'd have to do because they have the one-way
Right.
valve.
Right.
Mhm.
But the one-way valve makes them far more wearable, you know, so
Right.
all of our crew wears either a solid N95 or a vented N95 with a cloth mask. So, and like I say, you know, the problem when you send them out with these crews is, you know, you don't have any control over how the crew's health is, you know, the other contractor's crew.
Well, we'll take a look at that because the solid N95s may be a good way to go. Double masking in the field for 8 hours does maybe get a bit rough, but
Oh, I agree. But the solid masks are hard to wear too, because they're harder to breathe through, you know, so they're harder to exhaust. They're not harder. The breathe through is the same, but the exhaust is much harder. And apparently we've gotten some feedback that they're allowing you to insert a cloth filter in front of the bypass valve or the check valve. So I don't know how they know it's in there, but you know, I guess you can show them, take it off and show them. I don't know, but it's something to think about. I find the vented ones are much easier to wear than the solid ones.
we'll take a look at that.
Okay, we need a motion to forward it in a second.
Also, here, Russell, sorry, just to clarify, there is no public comment.
Thank you, Sharice.
And Chair Russell, we don't need a motion on this because it's referral, so it'll be going to the full board.
We always run a motion. Jared?
Oh, I meant no formal vote. Sorry.
No vote, yeah. But
Yeah.
do we have a motion? I might have missed it. There we go. And a second?
Second.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Okay, amendment number 3 to agreement MA 5671 from Stanton Engineering.
Hi, good morning. It's Alex Anaya, Engineer and Design. I'm here this morning to present amendment number 3 to agreement 5671 for professional services with Stanton Engineering to provide design services for the San Geronimo Treatment Plant Emergency Generator Project. The San Geronimo Treatment Plant was constructed in the early 60s and provides approximately 50% of the district's water supply. In 2019, after the district was made aware that PG&E was going to be implementing a public safety power shutoff, the district initiated a 2-phased approach to ensure that the treatment plant would have continued power during this event. The first phase included renting a 2-megawatt generator to be used in the summers of 2019 and 2020. The second phase was to design and install a permanent emergency generator at the treatment plant. In early 2019, the district hired Stanton Engineering to provide professional design services for the project. In the summer of 2019, the district project team, along with Stanton Engineering, participated in the startup test of the rented 2-megawatt generator. Findings from the startup test, along with the engineering calculations, confirmed that a 3-megawatt power plant system would be necessary to provide emergency power to run the treatment plant and the distribution pumps without reduced production capacity. The redesigned 3-megawatt power plant system consisted of 3 separate 1-megawatt generator plants. These generator plants had a total of 6 engines and produced 3 megawatts of the load requirement. This configuration would require more maintenance in addition to a transformer, which had a 10-month lead time. The project team determined that a 2-generator system operating at 2,400 volts would provide less maintenance since it's only 2 engines to service and maintain, and there's no requirement for a transformer. In addition, lessons learned during the PSPS event during the fall of 2019 led the project team to determine that the generator should include a 5-day fuel supply instead of the 3-day supply that was originally designed for. These and other design improvements have resulted in the need for amendment number 3 with Stanton Engineers. So the recommended action by staff is to obtain approval by the board for resolution 8585, authorizing the general manager to execute amendment number 3 along with a staff requested contingency not to exceed $30,000 with Stanton Engineering for a total authorized amount of $244,105 for design services for the San Geronimo Treatment Plant Emergency Generator Project.
I have a couple of questions, Alex.
Sure.
3 megawatts must pool fuel like it's going out of style, huh? You got a line envisioned in the future going over to Martinez to get fuel directly?
No, we're envisioning doubling the fuel tank capacity. Original design was for a 10,000 gallon storage tank. So now with the 2 generator sets that we have, we're going to be putting 20,000 gallons of fuel storage on site. So 10,000 gallons.
And we're confident we can get fuel service for that kind of volume? And that's a lot of fuel, huh? 4,000 gallons a day.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a bit of fuel, but it's what we learned during the last PSPS event. We had to.
Oh no, I don't question that, Alex. I'm not questioning that. I just want to make everybody clear that we're talking about a significant amount of fuel, not the cost of it, just the logistics.
Correct.
That, you know, even you got 5 days. I mean, you got to have a tanker there every day, basically, to stay up if you want to keep replenishing, or you got to have 5 tankers come or 8 tankers come in one day. You know, a lot.
Yeah.
I have another question, which may not be quite appropriate, but I'll ask it anyway. Have we found Montgomery's service to be equal to before Stanton took over? Are you still happy with him?
With Montgomery's service?
Larry, this is Stanton, not Stantec.
Yeah,
that's different. Yeah, different
Oh.
company.
Oh, gotcha.
Correct.
Sorry.
They're not affiliated. Yeah.
Gotcha. I wonder why it came out of Sacramento. That I couldn't quite follow that, but I didn't catch that. Sorry.
Correct.
But I'll ask the same question. How are they doing?
They're doing good, given the design changes that we've had and the lessons learned from the stuff we've been doing with the design. They're doing good. So we're on target to hopefully get this out to advertise here next month.
Well, I think the idea of going to 2,400 volts makes a lot of sense.
Correct.
That cleans things up a lot. And
Yes, it does.
what are the motors run on 2,400?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So it's still pretty big motors, though, huh?
Yes, they are. I mean, so these generator plant sets are roughly the size of a tractor trailer, container that you see on the freeway. So,
Yeah.
they're
I mean, they're
big.
locomotive engines, basically, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the only other thing I'll add is, I think we should still be looking at getting natural gas out in the valley and get these things run on natural gas instead of diesel, just because of the hassle of getting diesel and the potential for spills and all that junk.
Yeah,
it will happen.
Right. And there's a spill prevention design into
Of course.
location. So all that's going to be mitigated for in the event of that happening. We also did look into natural gas, and we worked with both Generac and Caterpillar. And with they were saying that a natural gas system would be engine-wise would be about 50% larger and would require dedicated 4 to 6 inch dedicated transmission gas line just to the generator. So
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
I don't know what the
we did look
standby
at
fees
that.
are for that. But the problem is, it's also a lot cleaner. You get a lot less energy per less BTUs per cubic foot and all that stuff, per pound with gas. But
so
it's just something I make sure we keep looking at. That's all.
Okay.
I'm glad you did.
Yes.
And I assume in that kind of thing, they charge you a standby fee equal to usage, even if you're not using it or something.
For natural gas?
Yeah. I mean, there must be some hit.
Yeah, we've never looked into with PG&E to do that, just because we learned the added cost and size and constraints. But we could look into that just to see what.
If you get around to it, it's not critical. I mean, you've got a solution, and that's good. I'm glad to hear that. I've been harping about generators since I joined the board, so I'm happy to see we're finally solving that problem, because especially at San Geronimo, that is the trickiest plant of all.
Yes.
No generator there, no water.
Correct.
So I'm really happy to see that. What's the schedule for getting it out the door?
We're scheduled to take it out to advertise on the 21st of August. And then we'll do the bid opening there in September, and hopefully we'll start construction in October, which is breaking ground, doing all the site grading, doing all the prep, conduits, everything. So we should have it done by March, April of 2021, right before PSPS.
Wow, that's great. So you can get the engines delivered that quickly?
Yes. These ones we do. We've already been working with CAT, so we got it all dialed in.
And they're all those silenced ones and all that. They come in the container, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Cool. Glad to hear. Okay, guys. This one we actually need a motion to approve.
Okay,
You asked for,
Larry,
right?
I got a couple questions. Okay.
Go ahead, Larry.
Vote. Thank you. There's been a lot of discussion in local municipal about the noise and odor issues associated with emergency generators. So those are my questions. Is there some kind of sound mitigation that Larry mentioned is built into this thing?
Yes, there is, Director Bragman. There is a housing unit that encloses the units for sound attenuation. So that's included with the generator packs.
And has anybody measured it, or does it come with any kind of measurement on the sound that it emits?
For the decibel reading, they do provide that. I don't have it in front of me, but I could get that information over to you to tell you what the decibel reading is at what.
Okay, I think I'd appreciate that. I don't know if the county has any sound ordinances. I know the municipalities do. And I don't really know the proximity of any residential, housing in that area. I think most of it's probably 100, 200 yards away.
But the closest thing is that horse ranch next to it, correct?
Okay, well, let's see what the decibels are. And then the other thing is on the fumes. I don't know what we can do about the diesel fumes.
Well, this is big enough, Larry, to have the filters on it.
Correct.
This is the fancy, I don't know, what is it, Cat 4 now or Cat 6 or whatever they're at, 8, the air quality control. So this has these big filters on it to take all the particulate out of the diesel. Doesn't get rid of the aldehydes and the smell, but these are burning pretty clean compared to a truck or something like that.
Okay. It could raise some issues with the neighbors out there. I really don't know. Did we have any complaints with the temporary generators from folks? Did anybody know?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know if anyone else might have some input on that.
Yeah, we did not.
Okay. Well, it may not be as big an issue as it is in a more densely populated area, but
or smaller motors, Larry, have much worse air pollution. So yeah, below 50 horsepower, the state doesn't do anything. I mean, they just let them be. Over 50, they get very involved.
Okay, well, I'd appreciate.
But something. It's an interesting question, Larry, and Alex, maybe one thing we could look at is just in thinking is whether the exhaust should be extended higher.
Okay.
Because that's a pretty easy task,
So
especially at this stage.
Okay, extended higher.
It's something to think about. I mean, I'm not pushing it one way or the other, but if you put a 20-foot exhaust on there, it's a whole lot different than. These are at ground level, at the container level, or they exhaust above that?
They exhaust above the container.
How far?
I want to say about 12 feet.
Oh, well, they're pretty high up. High up. I mean, they've obviously thought about this.
Yeah.
Just one more slightly attenuated question. Aren't we using some kind of a biodiesel for our vehicles in the yard, in the corp yard?
I'm not aware of using biodiesels. I'm not sure about that.
I thought at one point we were using some sort of.
Yes, it is. It is a environmentally, superior product from regular diesel. I can't tell you the exact classification, but it's not completely biodiesel,
right.
But it's a blend.
So are we paying more per gallon for that? Do you know?
Sure. Of course.
Well, I don't know.
Larry, we can get back to you on that. I don't know that we're using biodiesel.
I don't know if it's called biodiesel. It's some sort of a product with reduced petrodiesel. So
I think it is called biodiesel, Larry.
We'll take a look at it. And your question presumably flows to, could we use that for these engines as well? So let us take a look at that.
Thank you.
Well, and Ben, in particular on the first fill, because, you know, if it's unlikely they will have to run 5 days.
Right.
I hope in a PSPS, you know, that I hope they're not envisioning 5-day shutdowns. So, you know, if we filled the tanks with biodiesel, then we at least would run through that. The refill may be more complicated because it may not be available. But
Yeah, and there may be a storage life issue too. Vehicles obviously would be different here. The fuel.
well, that's true on any diesel, though. You know, it biodegrades pretty fast. But they put few additives in there to poison it, so that shouldn't, I don't think, be a problem.
We'll take a look.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Okay. Any other questions? Now I need a motion and a second and a vote.
So Chair Russell, just to confirm, there were no public comments that were emailed. And I'd like to take this time for any of the on Zoom. If anybody is interested, this is your chance to raise hand if you'd like to make a public comment at this moment. And we have no public comment from the Zoom participants as well.
Okay, now I need that motion, guys.
Move approval.
Second.
Thank you.
Director,
Now we need a roll call.
Director Bragman,
Aye.
Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kohler,
Aye.
Director Quintero,
Aye.
Chair Russell.
Aye. Okay. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Wait. We
Whoops.
have a
Sorry.
closed session.
Right.
Oh,
We've got 3 closed session items.
Right. I understand it's not going to be too lengthy, but I'll hand it over to Bob once we're all set with the.
was there a packet on that? I see it listed here, but
There is not a set of documents